Good afternoon and welcome to The Paper Thing, episode 34. It's a magazine special. Today's show, Adele of A Way to Die. Adele of A Way to Die. Update the stream information, god damn it. Yes, it's a three magazine show today. We're looking at Vogue, we're looking at Sight and Sound, and we are looking at the first issue of Rolling Stone UK, since the last time they tried to do a Rolling Stone UK, which was in 1970. Hey, Slankmire, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, we will also do the Daily Mail at the end of today's show, so that we will have the usual birthdays on this day and all of that crap. So, some aspect of the traditional show going on. But we're going to start with Vogue, then we're going to move on to Rolling Stone, and finally to Sight and Sound in the magazine review. Look at that. What a hecking chonker pile of magazine goodness and not goodness. I've chosen these these different magazines for three reasons, for three individual reasons. The first one, we're looking at Vogue because we're looking at the way celebrity profiles are written. And some real crimes against the art form in this Adele interview. We're looking at Rolling Stone UK for the notion of, like, what is a magazine for? Rolling Stone UK doesn't know what it's for, and I'm going to explain why. And Sight and Sound magazine to look at how a specialist magazine in print can actually work. So Myers signing a contract with a new place in 2 hours. So some generalised dread is being alleviated. Well, I'm happy to be present to alleviate some generalised dread. Hello, Panic Future. How are you? Hello, Heathmore 2401. Good to see you too. Right, so let's get started. Now, of course, Vogue is a thick mag, but mostly that's because it's full of ads. So we'll try and skip through the ads pretty quickly, and I want to focus predominantly on the Adele profile and talk through that. So it opens up with a load of ads. There's a massive load of ads for Chanel in this one, Celine, more Chanel. Chanel's a big advertiser in this issue, effectively. Armani, of course, Fendi, Gucci, more stuff, Burberry. A really amazing, I love this ad with Gillian Anderson. The photography is amazing. Right, Estee Lauder, Van Cleef & Arpels, Dior. So this is Edward Enninful's editor's letter. He says, if you're lucky, a moment will arrive on a fashion shoot when a sensation that feels a lot like magic occurs. To be honest, with this month's cover star, there were half a dozen such moments as we gathered in a New York studio over 2 days in July under the all-seeing eye of photographer Stephen Meisel to take a series of pictures of the one and only Adele. Editors, and particularly fashion editors, love this self-aggrandizing, mythologizing thing. I have to say, though, look, that picture of Adele is badass, and the photography of Adele in the feature when we reach it is top class. Unfortunately, the feature that the photography surrounds is not. There's an ad for Lady Gaga's collaboration with Dom Perignon. I'm sure that's very necessary during a time of increased shortages, hunger, and sadness, isn't it? Return of Glamour, we're told. Apparently, one pieces are in this season. There's a big ad for Gucci Flora with Miley Cyrus. New trend is this season's trend is mix and match monochrome. I mean, when has black ever been out? It's a Lancome advert for younger skin featuring a woman who looks like a teenager. Fucking phone, everything's dropping today. It's very annoying. Is it possible to take a bad photo of Gillian Anderson? If it is, I've not seen it. Apparently, sheer is in sheer sensuality. I think a lot of times fashion mags do features about sheer clothing just because it's very easy to do the headline puns. There's an ad for Reese. Apparently gold is in. Gold! Imagine wearing those boots, though. Those boots are amazing. Look at those boobs.
Those bits are amazing. I'm walking them. They're amazing.
It's possible. How do, Pablo Bonzo? How you doing? Good to see you. In 1969, Omega made a giant leap for watchmaking, reports Rachel Garan. What was the giant leap? I don't know. Funny that they have a Breitling ad straight over the page there. A pops of colour reign supreme, but pastel tones offer the sweetest edge, apparently, in jewellery. I read a brilliant article a while back about how the advent of digital photography harmed the art form of fashion photography to allow for live feedback during the shoot from the client, designer, editors, etc., resulting in photography conducted by committee rather than individual photographer's vision. Yeah, I'd agree with that. And the trouble, and that's something that's come over from commercials as well, like where they have the client in another room running through, and then they can send feedback to the commercial directors during the making or just during the shoot. It was very bad when I worked in magazines as well, because I always thought the best thing to do was not allow that many people from the editorial team to go to shoots. The more editorial team people were at the shoot, the worse the shoot was. Kin United 2, I could take a bad photo of Gillian Anderson because it's hard to adjust focus when you're in a puddle on the floor. Fair enough. Hey, Research Arena, how are you? Goodness, that is cleavage right there. Yep, Adele looking boobulous on that front page. There's a nice little feature about French female filmmakers, which is kind of cool. Eddie Redmayne, I mean, looking... I don't know, like, I'm not quite sure about the vibe on this shoot. Come to the Cabaret. Eddie Redmayne talks to Sarah Crompton about starring in the Playhouse Theatre's revival of Kander and Ebb classic. So that's him being the MC, but I don't know. He lacks the sort of drive for it. Hard agree about having too many people in the room. This is why I hate working with a team curmudgeonly cling to my analog photography. Use your weapons. Can't believe Crazy Frog is on Adele's new album. I wish that'd be great. By the way, I like the new Adele song, and not in an ironic way, just in a genuine, I just enjoy Adele songs. Pablo Bonzo says, exactly, an eye for photography, not many pairs of eyes. Yeah. Travel special, Giles Hatterley talks about Bermuda's beach clubs, harbours and art-filled hotels. Very relatable. Very relatable to us all, this. This thing about travelling and getting sun and... It's like... It's surely... We're in the winter. Right, skipping through this stuff. There's a feat... Liberty Ross and Jimmy Iovine's home is rock meets roll, apparently. It looks fine. But it would, you would feel that if you had, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Liberty Ross, what attracted you to many millionaires, Jimmy Iovine? I think he's probably a billionaire at this point, actually, since they sold Beats to Apple. Bermuda is one of my favourite places to do financial crimes as use of weapons. Yeah, mine too. Good day, Gonzo Socialism. How are you? There's a thing about 90s fashion and a pretty amazing shot of Claudia Schiffer. Again, I mean, are there many bad shots of Claudia Schiffer? It's a feature about about fashion in the 90s. I like this kind of grunge-ish shot of Kate Moss there. Use of weapons. Oh shit, shouldn't have said favourite place to do crimes. Oh shit, I shouldn't have said financial crimes. It's hot today. The Simpsons. They're trying to advertise their Vogue Visionaries thing, which basically just like a way to try and sell courses that pretend like you'll get into fashion if you do them. Edward Enninville introduces a Forces for Change series feature here, and it's sponsored by Nike, BMW and YouTube. Famously, big corporations are very keen on actual change rather than the impression of it. Sigmar says, cover photo reminds me of that photo of Sophia Loren giving Jay Mansfield's cleavage a side eye. Trump uni for dressmaking, Panic Future says about the Vogue thing. Absolutely. Right, so who are the change makers here? Well, God knows. Online and off, the pastor has brought the dark realities of being stalked even closer to home, discovers Deborah Linton. It's actually quite a good feature, but it's sort of not given much space. Further on, in suburbia, Robin Muir looks back on a photograph of extraordinary fashion in a very ordinary setting, shot by Steve Hyatt for Vogue's November 1976 edition. Look at that. I mean, that is a pretty amazing picture. Change UK is back and more fashionable than ever. Here's Mike Gapes in a Gucci strapless dress. My God. Use of weapons, no. Pablo Bonzo says, I hear sackcloth rags are going to be big in the next season. Yeah, me too. Hello, I'm the Divine Light. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for your first comment. Good afternoon, Mark Kenosis. Welcome to the magazine special. Anyone joining late, we're doing a magazine special today rather than the normal newspapers. We've got Vogue, Rolling Stone, and Sight and Sound magazine. The main reason I'm doing Vogue is we're going to get to this profile, and we're going to talk about the problems with this profile. Meet Jay Revlon, the leading light of Britain's ballroom scene. Cool. Thank you, Mark Kenosis, for resubscribing Tier 1. That's 10 months. That's a 10-month streak. Thank you very much. Gapes the Return, says Red Tick Seed. Gonzo Socialism. What?
Return of the Gapes.
Once again. Various. Right. The insane thing about a magazine like Vogue is it takes so long. God, I've just made my eye really red. It takes so long to get to the feature that's on the front page. Jodie Comer is promoting is in an ad for Noble Panacea, the only serum created by a Nobel laureate. They don't say which one. I'm going to presume it's Henry Kissinger. There's a skincare special if you're into that. It's very long. There's lots of pictures of serums. Pages and pages of serums. They all look the same to me, yeah. There's a hair care section, various, hairdos that will be unbearably difficult to handle in actual real life. And finally, we reach, it's ballroom as in voguing derived, hardcore queer house music. Jay Revlon's class, yeah. Jay Revlon is a brass eye name, but it's a cool name. Paris is Burning, but the music got increasingly raw and minimal. That's very cool. Right, here we go. Now we are on to the Adele feature. So here is the opening spread for it. Absolute Bonnie Tyler vibes. Gonzo Socialism says, Mick got backache expressing serum. Stop it. Behave. Right, so anyway, absolute Bonnie Tyler vibes here. Right, so for the record, her remarkable songs of heartbreak and redemption have won Adele many millions of fans. Now she tells Giles Hatley in her first interview for 5 years she is poised to release her strongest album yet. I fucking hate this with the typography. Like, going from large to small, it just looks bad. It looks like you've fucked up. Anyway, moving on. One of the things, real 60s vibe in the next shots, which are, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Slick Maya Mick equals hashtag Top Shagger. This is becoming a meme which I'm increasingly uncomfortable with. Thank you for the hydrate message, Use of weapons never forgiven Adele for cutting council funding for pavements in the 2010s. Right, so another good shot of her there. Basically, what's happening with this feature is photography is amazing, but the actual writing, dog mess, and I'm going to explain why. It opens with the kind of a real classic of the profile writer's art, which is there is an art to being Adele, which is to say that being the world's most fleetingly glimpsed megastar is not a status achieved by bungling your exit from a limo. So basically, this is like the writer, Giles Hattersley, putting himself in the frame. So it's about how he was too slow when they were leaving this limo, and like he's been placed in the heart of the action. Basically, it's like. It's just frustrating. It's like, I'm very special. Look at me with this superstar. But where it gets really awful is when Giles Hattersley first writes down some quotes from Adele because he decides to render them as he thinks she speaks. So this is, and I quote, a manicured hand is preferred, a firm but fluttery handshake bestowed, followed by the most comforting of salutations. Hello, I'm Adele. Literally written ELLO. And we're off. I'm alright, how are you? She launches in, heavenly accent unchanged. Of course, a man called Giles Hattersley is going to find anyone with a working class accent to be of incredible novelty. So then he gets the quotes about her divorce and about what the album is about, all that kind of stuff. Fine, right? This picture looks like she's about to fall over, and I'm not sure about this. I'm working class. It whiffed at me from the window. Lol, does he think Adele is the working class bystander in an M.R. James ghost story? Pretty much. Gore blimey, governor, says Parps. Where's this? Adele is the best thing to come out of Tottenham since Leslie King come from. She's from South Norwood. That was Gonzo Socialism. So anyway, you get a lot of stuff here, basically, of him trying to imply that they're good best pals now, rather than the fact that she, a consummate professional, understands how to get him on side by, blasting him with the charm. This is a great photo. Basically, the photos are great. I love the Dusty Springfield vibe in that one. This one is odd. Person in the room passing by there. But yeah, the feature is really bad. It's really, really, really bad. It's just cliche ridden. More Bonnie Tyler vibes. Mark Knos's Vogue, recommended for illiterates. Use of weapons. Core blimey, they got hot food near Mr. Newspaper Man. Only used to get that on Friday fish suppers. Yeah. Right, so anyway, the other thing that they do, which I fucking despise, is you get during the feature, we get this, move to page 254, and you have to skip to page 254 to end the feature. Don't do that. Just do the feature as one complete unit, rather than doing the American thing of putting the back end of features all together at the end of the book. It's stupid. Right, there's a feature about a road trip through southern Italy. Just one of those ridiculous Vogue shoots where you think, why is this woman in a lemon grove? Why is this woman on a boat looking like a bad extra from a Wes Anderson film? Not Ed Webb. If they don't do that, how will you see all the serums? Yeah, Panic Future, of course, your own, a choose your own adventure book. Yeah, Adele telling us how you could leave your doors open in them days. The craze were villains, but they loved their mum and had hearts of gold. Pretty much. Anyway, this shoot, it doesn't work for me. But then I am a 37-year-old man wearing a bright orange hoodie, so perhaps it's not designed to work for me. Anyway, it goes on. Here's some ridiculous shit from Marc Jacobs by Marc Jacobs for Marc Jacobs. I love it. We're meant to take this seriously. And this. Just dressed like bag lady vibe. Adele exemplifies the Blitz spirit, gov. Genuinely, this is just, taking the piss. When I started seeing people showing through live streams or making fashion films, I just thought, I'll never be able to do that. I'll never be able to put my heart into it, recalls Marc Jacobs, who early last year stepped away from the lot, deciding to design a new collection only when he could safely show it. My delivery system of choice, that's a phrase I got from my shrink, is showing a runway to an audience. Fucking hell, who gives a fuck? Mark Knossos, my contrarian take is that ridiculous high fashion is absolutely fine in and of itself in its own context. Yeah, I agree with that, right? But there's no sense of humour about it, really. I like crazy high fashion, right? But people treat Marc Jacobs as if he's some sort of genius. When look at this isn't even interesting. This isn't even interesting, right? The heiress, her home, a suite of rooms at the smartest London hotels, her wardrobe, opulent yet elegant pieces from the new season, her style, hedonistic. She's made up for the purposes of this shoot. Yeah, that's a puffer jacket. I mean, even if you're in a warm hotel, you're going to catch your death like that. Mark Jacobs has 2 first names. You can't trust people with 2 first names, says use of weapons. Agreed. Anyway, this shoot goes on forever. Like, come on. Kahindi Wiley, an artist, trailblazing painting of Barack Obama, as well as his reworking of old masters. This is a cool feature, and his paintings look fucking incredible. Also, I love his suit. That's an amazing suit. So anyway, yeah, that's Vogue. The main takeaway from it is incredible shoot of Adele, terrible profile. Just look at the pictures. Gonzo Socialism. Let's face it, London Fashion Week looks like a cross between a glue factory explosion and a trip to a recycling plant. Mark Canosis' contrary opinion. So does Dada College, though, and it's cool. Right, so there, collage, and it's cool. There you go. That was Vogue. Now, we move on to Rolling Stone UK, and basically me destroying any chance that I'll ever get commissioned by them by explaining why I think it's fucking terrible. Like, terrible. Right, here we go. All right. Rolling Stone UK, front page. There are various covers for this. I chose the Lashana Lynch one, but there's also, I think, a Sam Fender one. Some others. Sam Fender looks like everybody's mate's mate. Who the hell asked for Rolling Stone UK to exist? A commercial publisher, basically. Rolling Stone has never been good, says Parps. People writing for it. So anyway, this... To give you an idea of what Rolling Stone UK, why Rolling Stone UK exists, right? Hunter Thompson, Michael Hastings would be embarrassed to write for a new form Rolling Stone. They would indeed. Right, so this is publisher's letter from Darren Styles, OBE, the managing director, right? That's the first thing you get in a rock and roll magazine, like in a music magazine, and in a brand that was the home to Gonzo and all this kind of stuff, right? You get a letter from the managing director. Vibes. This is ego at work, right? The reader doesn't give a fuck what the managing director of the publishing company thinks, right? That shouldn't be up front, but it is. So let's see what he has to say. He said, John Lennon had it right. Life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. At this point, I should have thrown this magazine out of the window, but I didn't. And he goes, it was the morning of Wednesday, 3rd November 2004, the day after George W. Bush had been re-elected to serve a second term as US president. And the day, for reasons that history, let alone common sense, does not record, I'd chosen to meet Rolling Stone founder Jan Wetter, talk about a UK edition of the world's greatest popular culture magazine. Citation very much fucking needed. He was present and charming in a way you might not have expected of a man who'd bet on a blue, but see his chips come up red. A triumvirate of pre-blah blah blah, but instead, the pre-blah blah 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 blah. And he said, the portfolio of titles I would ebb and flow in subsequent years, covering cars, travel, health, fitness, homes, property abroad, parenting, food, and latterly men's lifestyle in the form of Attitude, the world's largest LGBTQ plus media brand. And Rolling Stone rolled on. Then about 12 months ago, the call came. Jay Pence's PMC had acquired Rolling Stone and was looking to expand its international footprint. Licensed editions extended from Argentina and Colombia to France, Italy, and Germany, and to Australia and China. 14 countries in all, but they were looking for a 15th, the UK. Right, this is fucking talking about... This is just a business guy talking about business shit, right? Anyway, lots of fashion pictures... Then we get an editor's letter from the editor, Cliff Joanna, who says, welcome to the first issue of Rolling Stone UK. It's a journey 17 years in the making. It's like, whatever. Like, who gives a fuck? And it's like, and it goes on about what an amazing team they've got. Yeah. Then, very first thing, picture of the brand new Land Rover, right? This tells you who this is for. It's for middle-aged men who want to feel cool. And it won't survive. Then a turntable, a £995 turntable. Then a thing about Queen's new online store. Then just a news section that is so bitty. You just think, well, what's the point? A thing about Annie Leibowitz's new book. Again, who gives a fuck? A thing on an interview with Don McLean. Don McLean, sorry. A thing about the top 10 albums at the moment. Again, like charts. Who gives a fuck about charts? They recommend various people. I mean, they are good bands. Like, some good bands in there. But, like, fine, whatever. Then there's a profile of Self-Esteem by Elizabeth Aubrey. You'll notice Elizabeth Aubrey's in here a lot. Then current affairs. No time for another cop-out. A feature by someone who recently campaigned to be leader of the Green Party. Why? Nobody knows. This magazine doesn't know what it's for or what it wants to be about. It has no bite. It has no purpose or substance. Then an interview with the very worthy Lord John Bird of A Big Issue. But what the fuck is this doing in here? Then a big feature about Sam Fender, which is shot again like essentially this is an Attitude feature in Rolling Stone. All the photography in this is very much like Attitude. I always think Attitude's a pretty good magazine, right? But all this photography, it's basically Attitude photography put in a Rolling Stone covers. What the fuck is this photo about? It looks like he's just, I don't know. Horrible jacket. But anyway, it's a perfectly fine feature, but it's sort of standard, and it goes on and on. It is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-page feature on a man who's just released who's just about to release his second album. There isn't enough to say about that. Then we're on to Lashana Lynch, who is fucking cool, and is almost impossible to take a bad photo of her. Don't worry, they manage it. But again, I mean, that's a great photo. That's got attitude. That's the one bit of attitude in this entire magazine. Again, this goes on for ages. Designers obsessed with white space to the point that it's just text floating in white space. Anyway, this goes on for ages. Fills up like another 9-page interview just because. Then we've got a feature on Bastille. Does anyone give a fuck about Bastille anymore? Again, written by Elizabeth Aubrey, which suggests that they haven't got that many writers, which is never a good sign in a new mag launch. This one goes on, another 8-page feature, obscene. And then a feature on Arlo Parks, which actually has some decent photography in it, a bit livelier photography, and it has a bit of soul to it, but still far too long. Then there is a bizarre feature with Sharon Horgan and Tim Burgess. For I don't know why. I don't know why. Then we just get into a big section of paid content, which is a Rolling Stone with Ted Baker section. Which is only barely noted as paid content. Another feature on Bastille. Bastille's PR must be fascinated. Joy Crooks, who I'm not familiar with her, but her debut album's coming out. I guarantee you, I guarantee you that the PR for Joy Crooks is a PR for one of the bigger acts, and Joy Crooks is in there for that reason, as a trade-off. Then there's a live review of Jungle, which is fine, I guess. Something about Alakai Harley, who they describe as a dance hall diva. Sam Fender used to work in a pub near me. He was often off his tits and couldn't pour a decent pint, says Pablo Bonzo. Red Tixie, this is the kind of thing my dad might read. The trouble is, right, it's not it's not retro enough to get the dads, right? And it's not interesting enough to get a young audience. It's just sort of, it's a mushy middle ground. What's that?
No, I just forgot my bag.
Are you going out? Where are you going?
I'm in the square.
Oh, can you get me a Diet Coke?
Yes.
Thanks. Ace is in the pack. This is a feature on Wolf Alice, who I like a lot. What are you?
I forgot things.
Okay. I do like Wolf Alice again, but this is really blown out photography. Not a fan. I don't get the point. Again, it goes on for ages. Like, no one's told the editors that you can cut writers' pieces down. Then there's a Mercury Prize nominee, Berwin. Again, the photography's okay in this, goes on too long. Person in the Forgotten Witch room, yeah, that's what's going on. Then there's a feature on the decriminalisation of cannabis, which is, I mean, look, the cliche of that design. A copper, Houses of Parliament and cannabis leaves. Ridiculous. Goes on for ages, very boring, quotes too many Lib Dems. Then there's a feature by Mark Sutherland, who frankly has been in the music, he's been toiling away in the music press, well, since I was a teenager. It's about Oasis at Nebworth. Again, fine, far too long. Then, here's the fucking, like, someone on the editorial team is off their face on Spice feature, because it's Paul Mason talking to Ash Sarkar about fascism. What's this doing in this magazine? What purpose does it have? And the main spread is a huge picture of Ash and Paul sat on a sofa. Yeah, Parps, for the weed thing, it's either that or photoshopping a joint into the Queen's waving hand. And then a full-page picture of Ash, right? Fine, but, like, I don't understand what the... And this goes on for ages. Ages and ages and ages. Then there's a thing about the new West End musical on Bob Marley. It's nothing interesting about it. It's just a very bland Q&A. Then there's a feature on, I shit you not, the Zombies, which I'm interested in, but, like, it would be done better by Mojo, frankly. And again, pages and pages of nothing. Then there's a review section where they give Coldplay 4 stars, perhaps desperate to get Coldplay. I suspect Coldplay will be on the cover of their next issue. Then, of course, 4 stars for Sam Fender. That's his prize for choosing to be in the mag. Then a review of Succession, I mean, saying it's a 5-star show, which anyone knows. And they let you know, what the hell is that noise?
Sorry, I'm trying to wrap my nephew's present.
They tell you that Seinfeld is good. Seinfeld is good. I mean, it shouldn't take that long. Mark, Black Faces Don't Sell Magazine Sutherland. That's Steve Sutherland. I believe said that, actually. Coldplay should claim their name to Cold 6, says Gonzo. Hot new fashy looks for this fall. The man who... I'd give Coldplay 4 stars, Ninja throwing stars. And in the back page, the last word goes to Jimmy Carr. Why? He's got a book out. Oh, no, it's Mark as Melody Maker editor. Yeah, well, Steve Sutherland's awful as well. I hadn't actually read the Craig David bit, and I'm fairly sure that Steve Sutherland also said black faces don't sell magazines. Anyway, this is it's like someone got GQ, Attitude, and like a free music magazine you get in a bad record shop, put them in a blender, and that's what this magazine is. It has no it has no relationship to the masthead that it's got here. It's a terrible magazine. There's some okay writing in it in places, but it's indulgently designed. Excessive features long. Chart Music Podcast where Neil talk about the end of Melody Maker is amazing. It is. Or just Chart Music Podcast full stop is very good. Neil Kalkani is always very funny, and I actually really like Taylor Parks. All those guys are good, to be honest. Yeah. Anyway, I don't recommend this. Might get better. But I doubt it. Like, what is the point? Double negative nice from Red Tick Seed. A fair review. And finally, Use of Weapons. Terrible magazine, so saying it's better than The Guardian. Yes. And finally, here we go. Sight and Sound. Taylor Parks is an aggro melt, sadly. Well, yeah, I know. I read his Corbyn thing. That is true, but he's good on that podcast. He's good on that podcast. Right. Finally, we come to the third magazine of today's magazine special, and it's Sight and Sound magazine with a Clockwork Orange at 50, Kubrick and Burgess, The Untold Story. Now, if Rolling Stone had really terrible fucking design, Sight and Sound is the polar opposite. I think it does a really interesting job. From the contents page onwards, it's just really nicely designed. There's a ton of stuff to read in it. The only bad thing is Jonathan Ross's page, which I'm thinking I might just rip out to, free it from that. But anyway, there's a ton of stuff to read. It's really good. There's some stuff in that, there's some really good stuff about Indian cinema, which I would not... I didn't really know about, so I learned a bit more. The Jonathan Ross page is the new June adaptation a triumph? I'm the last person you should ask. Okay, if that's true, then, Jonathan, I won't bother reading the rest of that page. Kubrick and Burgess, The Untold Story, though, this feature is so well done. The content is brilliant, but the layouts are amazing as well. Great splash page. Really nice layout. They're just really nice layouts. But where it really gets good is where they've got these pages from the transcript of the script that Burgess wrote for an unproduced script. All these kind of little objects and stuff from their relationship. I love this. Like Kubrick's title page from... Burgess's title page from his unproduced 1969 screenplay for Clockwork Orange. I'm not sure Red Tick Seed, it's just a single column, but it's really good. And then, possibly, I think, but then this feature about Last Night in Soho, the new Edgar Wright thing, again, really beautifully done. Just, the photography is really nice. Use of space is good. Really good box outs. This one about the visual references that he uses. Like it takes cinema seriously, but it feels good. Hard Knock Life, James Samuels, blood spattered Western, the harder they fall. They talked to him about that. It's really good. What I like about it is really good interview. Lots of good photography, a really good breakdown of the characters. Then there's Regarding the Pain of Others, one of Poland's most acclaimed and prolific filmmakers, Małgorzata Sumzowska, discusses her latest film, Never Gonna Snow Again. Again, beautiful use of the photography available, really good space given to the writing. It's just cool to find out about stuff I don't know about, and written about in a compelling way. There's a really good feature on the Velvet Underground and the new Todd Haynes documentary. A good breakdown of where they've appeared in cinema. And the review section is excellent. It's really, it's reviews of a mix of things that I did know was coming out and things that I didn't know was coming out. It's just really beautifully done. I recommend it as a magazine. If you like cinema, it's a great magazine. It gets a good balance between taking the subject seriously, but treating it with some vigor, and the design is excellent. So so that's good. Yeah. I was like actually glad to buy this magazine. It is $5.95, but it's probably worth it. There's a lot to read. Way more to read in this than in both those other magazines that actually have a higher pagination count. So there you go. Right. So I hope you've enjoyed.
I'm just going to cut this, right?
Yeah. Okay. Fine. No serum, absolutely no serums reviewed in Sight and Sound. And finally, we come to the Daily Mail. Just one paper today. We're going to do this so that we continue being able to do on this day and all that kind of business.
The poem.
What's that?
The poem.
And the poem and all the horrible shit. Hey, SK, how you doing? Do remind us what you're doing tonight. Slinker's about to move to the Lakeside Centre in Thamesmead, where a ton of Clockwork Orange was filmed. It's a brutalist nightmare, but my inner film night is delighted. Cool. Okay, right, here we go to the Daily Mail. Front page of the Daily Mail. How to win tonight's record £184 million lottery. Enter it, I guess. SK's doing the YouTube Zone tonight from 6 p.m. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to do the roll call before I get into the Daily Mail. And then we're going to rampage through the Daily Mail. I'm the Broken Bottle Boy. Follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. Also, here today is SK the Crusader in the Mod Squad calling in from the Work Factory, I presume. In the chat also, Academy Impossible, Odysseus, Bing Cortana, Barabo82, Commander Root, Crawfish, Dan La Rosa, Dr. Fayed, Air Hubs, Ehud Barak, Gledster, Goldemir, Heathmore 2401, Kinyu 92, Chronotherm, Mark Kenosis, Not Ed Webb, Number 28, Pablo Bonzo, Panic Future, Parks, Ratiology, Recursive Rose, Red Tickseed, Renegade for Peace, Rimastino, Salinka Meyer, Snur, Spike Trap Claire, The Royal Flush, V&K, and XYFM. Hello to you all. Right, let us get into the Daily Mail. Front page, Queen's green anger. She criticises world leaders not committing to climate change. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, and she made sure that her family got exemptions from climate change legislation, so fuck off. Soul Chicken says, I'm still shaken by BBC Question Time last night. I didn't watch it. I was asleep. Do you tell me what was shaking you? On the right-hand side of the page, revealed Daniel's surprising secret. It's not that surprising he goes to gay clubs because he gets less hassle there. On page 2, Guido Fawkes' bullshit attack on Professor Priyamvada Gopal makes its way into the Daily Mail. Solidarity with her and nothing but curses to the perpetually thirsty drink drive enthusiast Paul Staines. On page 3, 18.5 million is the price for the Banksy that was shredded. Half shredded is now been sold again at auction. Right. On page 7, where 007 Daniel finds his license to chill in gay bars. I can talk to women there and not get into fights, he reveals. Right. Why I Bought My Dead Son's Body Home by Michael Rosen. Friends of Eddie 18 came to say goodbye, children's author reveals. Michael Rosen, children's author, has revealed he brought his dead son back home from the mortuary so his friends could say goodbye. I mean, that's pretty par for the course in Ireland.
What's that?
Bringing the dead body home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
It's a wake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
They're attacking GPs again. If you want to know more about the Daily Mail attacking GPs, but also the story of how the current Lord Rothermere's great-granduncle was involved in the was connected to the first hit-and-run case in the UK. Check out today's newsletter. Did he wakes his finite project? He did not. On pages 14 and 15, Christmas costs set to soar. Wow, this Brexit's turning out so well. On page 17, as the Queen blasts into the climate debate and the future king, I mean, Prince William may not be the future king. He might die before then. BBC Question Time, damage you to your health. Mark Kenosis says, Sir David Amess MP has just been stabbed multiple times in his constituency office. What? Seriously? Jesus Christ. Well, that's breaking news. Blimey. His condition is unclear. Police are believed to be at the scene. Blimey. That's...
Who's that? What's that?
An MP's been stabbed multiple times in his constituency office.
Fuck.
Tory MP Sir David Ames. Yeah. That's pretty insane. Right. Well, I hope he's okay. Richard Littlejohn is awful. The age of woke is beyond a joke. He says, of course he's writing about the Rolling Stones. Of course he is. They review the tragedy of Macbeth with Saoirse Ronan and James McArdle. They give it 4 stars. Holly Willoughby selling a candle. Who cares? I mean, people will buy it or not buy it. Jamwar is horrible. And on this day, October 15th, 2021, on this day in 1947, the base of Princess Elizabeth's wedding cake, damaged in air transit from Australia, is being repaired tonight by Jerusalem's leading confectioner before continuing for London tomorrow. Weird. October 15th, 1964, Mary Rand triumphant win and hailed to become Britain's first female Olympic athletics gold medal winner in 36 years. The 24-year-old mother achieved this with a new world long jump record of 22 foot 2 inches. It's Sarah Ferguson's birthday today. She's 62. It's Dominic West's birthday. He's 52. Penny Marshall, born on this day in 1943. New York actress found fame as Laverne DeFazio in Laverne and Shirley. She died in 2018. Friedrich Nietzsche was born on this day in 1844, died 1900. German philosopher has been described as one of the most brilliant and dangerous minds of the 19th century. Made his name rejecting Christianity, declaring God is dead. God is dead. On October 15th in 1945, Pierre Laval, the French politician who served in the Vichy regime, which collaborated with Nazi Germany, was executed as a traitor to France. In 1964, in the general election, on this day, Harold Wilson's Labour Party won by just 4 seats, the smallest majority since 1847. The victory ended 13 years of Tory rule. Joke of the day. Why should you never date a tennis player? Love means nothing to them. Macbeth, it wasn't a tragedy for Macduff, says Mark Canosis. Nietzsche died in 1900. No one tell him what happened next. Yeah. How my mother, Lady Penelope, was swindled and betrayed by sexist TV dinosaurs and my dad. Jerry Anderson's stepdaughter is battling for justice at last. Ian McKellen in the Cherry Orchard gets 4 stars. In the TV reviews, Stand Up to Cancer 7:30 tonight is their TV recommendation. Tonight, the reviews, Shot Well for the Planet gets 3 stars, Guilt gets 4 out of 5. In the cartoons today, Garfield is just hanging out with John's girlfriend in Chloe & Co. Chloe and a man are drinking and talking. Chloe says, Terry's got a black eye and a tooth missing. The man says, but I only saw him yesterday, arm in arm with Chloe. Oh no, it's Chloe's friend. So did his girlfriend. Right, Chloe's a mover, isn't she? Fred Bassett is just waking up. He's still in his basket. Right, here is the poems. They're only short, but they're still awful. Nursery rhyme for our time. Christmas is a-coming and the gas bill's growing fat. Please save your pennies for a thermostat. If you can't afford the heat on, a hat and coat must do. With universal credit cut, it's God help you. Oh, Jesus Christ. And the limerick today is... Oh, how could life be so unfair? There's no CO2 left to spare. Frozen food we will lose and it's goodbye to booze, but we're told there's too much in the air. Oh, right! It's not how it works, you fuckers. Garfield cocking John, says Mark Canosis with his horrific barbed penis. Okay, that's a good poem, legitimately, says Mark Canosis. It's not a good poem. That is so loud. In the straight to the point letters, Mike Smith from Chatham, Kent says, Prince Charles runs his Aston Martin on byproduct from cheese making, which only goes to prove the proverb, where there's a wheel, there's a way. Jesus Christ. B Best of High Wycombe says, where is the wine and cheese fuel pump that Prince Charles uses for his Aston Martin? My car could do with a drop of his elite fuel. And M Springer says, like Sarah Vine, I never have any leftover wine or cheese. I'll have to stick to running my car on petrol. Never like Sarah Vine. Right, today's recipe is fruity flapjack cookies. They look fine, I guess. They're trying to sell you bad holidays. They're reviewing Korean cars in the motoring section. And in the sport, play me or I'm off. Sterling's threat to City over New Deal. Quadruple negative nice from the Daily Mail there. Right, thank you for joining me today for today's magazine special. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing it. Please, if you can, share today's newsletter. I actually did a lot of research for it, and I'd appreciate that. And also, if you don't subscribe to the show here, but want to support it in some way, just a one-off way, please contribute to the paper fund, paypal.me/conquest of the useless. Slinkermeyer rates the Daily Mail a quadruple negative nice, a classic. Thank you for redeeming Hydrate, Red Tick Seed. Thanks, Lincoln. I hope you have a good weekend too. Zero from Red Tick Seed. Cheers. Gonzo Socialism rates the Daily Mail -69 serums. I'll be back on Monday, of course, at 1 p.m. with a new show. In the meantime, this show will be up on YouTube. And if you're watching it on YouTube, why not like, subscribe, and comment? All of those things are very useful. Cheers all. See you Monday. Bye-bye.